The following story is also available as a read-only version. Check the link in the description if you're interested.
Reese started his shift 1 hour before midnight. It was a Friday in late summer, and the air outside was still humid from an afternoon of incessant rain. People were filing into the clubs. A group of young men, having already hit the bottle, purchased condoms and ale. The latter was consumed liberally as some girls, purchasing their own drinks, were loudly made aware of the former. The interesting customers started pouring in a few minutes after 12. 3 men and 2 women came through the door without making a sound. One of them was black, yet even his skin seemed pale somehow. They beelined for a fridge at the back of the shop that the previous customers simply hadn't noticed. At the register, the blonde one handed Reese a drink carton from the fridge. AB Plus was printed prominently on the box. "Can you warm this up?" 2 of his friends chuckled. The man ignored them. Reese shrugged and put the carton in the microwave for a minute. "How's hunting tonight?" "Don't know yet," the black one said.
"Maybe you should come and find out with us."
The smaller of the women winked at him. "I enjoy working too much," Reese joked.
"I've been told that getting a bite from her is very pleasant,"
the other woman said. "You wouldn't like the taste of me. It's always better from the tap. Why do you think I have mine heated up?" the blonde one argued. "Let's just say I have a certain time of the month." Reese winked back at the small one, practically seeing the chills that ran down her spine as she peered at the lunar phase on the calendar behind him. A wholly different pack entered shortly after they'd left. They were young, clad in ragged clothes, and danced through the shop euphorically. One of them was little more than a boy. He approached the register, smelled the air, and howled at Reese. When Reese responded only by raising an eyebrow, the confusion was clear on the boy's face. "You should get your nose checked, mate." After processing his crisps and can of cider, he added, "That'll be £2.50. "Wait, he's paying for all of us," said a girl who seemed to be in charge. "I know it's a subtle difference, but this is not a mistake you want to be making when the moon is full, Will." Will growled, but reluctantly paid for an additional 3 bags of bacon ruffles, some cabernots, and a 6-pack of Newcastle brown ale. When Reese was almost done, the youngest girl of the group added chewing gum, giving Will the kind of smug look that young girls give young boys when they want to tease for attention. When Will snapped his teeth at her, she hid behind the alpha. At 1:30, a tall hunchback entered. His face was hidden in the darkness of his hoodie, but Reese could see his grey skin and primitively strong features all the same. He was old, gaunt, marked by his affliction. He tumbled to the liquor rack and wordlessly put 2 bottles of cheap whiskey on the counter. "Good night to you as well, Sweeney," Reese said as he grabbed the scanner.
"If you just let me leave with these, I can tell you who's gonna die soon,"
Sweeney grumbled in his thick Scottish accent. "Even if I would, the drinks got you so messed up you couldn't tell a birth from a death." Reese scanned the bottles.
"I'm serious. One of your family's about to die,"
Sweeney insisted. "You've given me that line probably a dozen times now. No one has died yet." "That'll be $8.50.
"Stingy Welsh fuck,"
Sweeney mumbled as he handed over the money. When he walked out the door, Reese gave it a 50-50 chance he would be back before 6. An hour later, a woman dressed to be inconspicuous entered. She wore white jeans, a blue top hat, and a pinstripe suit jacket over a t-shirt covered in rhinestones. Her wispy white hair seemed to float where it stuck out of the hat, and her contact lenses did a poor job disguising her lack of iris and pupil. "Her Majesty requires your finest cream," she demanded. Reese pointed at the dairy section. "Over there we have a very fine selection." The woman nodded, but stood still. "It is customary for you to go get the items you want to buy and then bring them here," Reese informed. She seemed unconvinced, but hesitantly approached the fridge. She didn't seem to have the faintest clue what she was looking for. The yellow one over there is good and sweet, Reese pointed out helpfully. The woman grabbed 6 cartons and put them down on the counter. You running a late-night supply run for Buckingham Palace? He asked. The woman did not understand the joke. She needed a moment to realize what he was talking about at all. No, not that queen. Our queen. She gave him an exaggerated wink, presumably still under the impression that her disguise was working. That'll be £12. The woman produced a €2 coin, a ball of cotton, and a bundle of short sticks from her pocket. She confidently shoved them over to Reese. You're not from the city, are you? He asked. How can you tell? She sounded shocked. When I see people from the city court, they dress differently, and they pay with the right money. What are you talking about? This is currency, the woman insisted with indignation. Not the kind of currency we accept. Reese opened the cashier and laid out several different coins and bills. These are British pounds. They are the only thing you can pay with here. I know we have this, but I didn't take any from the vault. Should have thought of that. Now Her Majesty will be without cream. She sounded like she was about to cry. Listen, I will sign you a receipt and your court will owe us £12 sterling. How does that sound? The woman nodded. Thank you very much. You are a good man. As she left, Reese wondered why she hadn't just bought cream from a farmer out in the country. At 4, the cleaner came in. His nose was the size of a child's arm, his eyes were asymmetrical, and his mouth was almost impossibly askew. He also had warts, clusters of ruddy complexion, and patches of discoloured skin. Good morning, Eric. How's the sewers? Reese greeted. Fuck you, Reese. You know I ain't living down there, Eric responded as he marched into the maintenance chamber. Bad day? I've been crowned the most handsome member of me clan, Eric shouted as he turned on the water to fill his bucket. None of them even get why that's insulting. They can't ever come up here. They could never pass. When he started to mop the floor a minute later, a group of men in business suits entered. They were only as tall as children, but lacked the strange proportions and waddling gait common for people with that affliction. Most of them had flamboyant beards, and all had clearly been drinking. You one of those shops that does sandwiches, mate? The one with the most impressive beard asked. We have pre-packaged ones. Reese pointed them to a shelf stocked with sandwiches. Another of the businessmen shook his head. He had jagged eyebrows. No, we want fresh ones. Then I'm afraid you're at the wrong shop, Reese informed. You sell bread, lettuce, cuts, vegetables? The only clean-shaven one noted. His nostrils seemed moderately inflamed. Make us sandwiches, we'll pay. Reese noticed that they were all quite energetic. There had been more than just alcohol involved. Gentlemen, unfortunately I cannot do that for you. If you want to buy our pre-packaged sandwiches, those are also pretty fresh. Did you not listen to me? The one with the jagged eyebrows asked. I told you to do this, and I told you I would pay. What in the name of the Great Red Lake is this? The man with the most impressive beard pointed at Eric, who was just coming around the corner. What the fuck did they let you out the underground for? Probably the same reason they let them into the underground in the first place. Nobody wants them anywhere else, the businessman laughed. We don't want them down there neither, the clean-shaven one added. The others agreed. Eric clenched his deformed jaw and continued cleaning. If you're not going to buy anything, I would kindly ask you to leave the shop, said Reese, drawing the businessman's attention back to himself. But I will buy something, mate. I will buy the sandwiches that you will make for us. I will not make sandwiches for you, sir. Please leave now. What do you mean you're not making sandwiches for me? You want me to teach you a proper lesson about disrespecting your betters? The one with the jagged eyebrows flexed his muscles underneath the suit. Despite his size, he would be packing a good punch. I'm asking you to leave the shop before I lose my patience, sir. Reese flashed his teeth at him and growled ever so subtly. That seemed to enrage him even further, but the one with the impressive beard, who seemed like the oldest of the group, grabbed his shoulder. Careful now, we just closed a deal, but we haven't bought the whole city. Half the group spat on the floor as they left the shop. What a bunch of cunts, Reese said when they were out. Tell me about it, mate. I bet they're kin with the people who've been trying to get us evicted for years. Not that many of their kind in London, what with it being a swamp town and all. Filthy rich arseholes, the lot of them. Eric was done with his work at 6:30. As disgusting as he looked, he was excellent at cleaning. The whole shop was spotless. At 7:30, an Indian woman of captivating beauty entered the shop. Her long black hair was smooth as silk, her features fine and aristocratic, her dark eyes like bottomless wells. She moved with the grace and confidence of a tiger. Reese needed a moment to focus when she asked him a question. Sorry, what? Do you sell? She asked again, pointing at Reese. The slight curl of her lip made him want to give her whatever she desired. I do sell everything on the shelves, yes, he joked. Something was wrong here, but the alarms were not going off, so it probably wasn't dangerous. I'm more interested in you, your force. You seem like a very vital man. The woman gave him a wink. We have vitality on sale? Reese pointed at the fridge with the red drink cartons. I'm not looking for that kind of vitality. The woman put her hand on his, and Reese felt a tug at his very soul. He pulled away, taking a step back, getting ready to grab a box of charms stored underneath the counter. There are people and places for this, but I'm not one of them, he said firmly. Only a few years, please. I'm starving. Her fluttering eyelids whispered to his mind, telling him to give in. Reese touched the box of charms, and his thoughts became clearer. This is London. There are plenty of men willing to spare some years for you, he said. The woman let off, rolled her eyes, disappointed. Her glamour fell away entirely. She was certainly beautiful, but not as mesmerizing as she had seemed. It's never the ones I want, is it? Such is life. Reese gave her a courteous smile. This woman had a problem, but there was no reason to be rude to customers. At 7, his shift ended. Alberta, an old lady who had been with the shop much longer than he had, was punctual as always. She brought him a platter of biscuits, strawberries, and cream, leftovers from her own breakfast. Reese thanked her, changed back into his street clothes, and was in bed by 8.
If you liked this story and would like to hear more, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. A new short story is uploaded every Wednesday, and there will occasionally be another one in between if I find the time. Thank you very much for listening and have a great day.